We're going to now take our rider and do what we did preparing this horse in his side reins. We're going to do it mounted now. This is my right-hand man, Henry. Henry and I have done this so many times we don't even have to talk about it anymore. We know what to do before we have to do it. But every horse that comes in here, this is our procedure we go through. Once again, if you haven't watched the prior videos, you've got to watch those and not skip any steps. We have to do this in a sequential order in a way that this horse is conditioned in the proper stages, okay? So what we've done now, we've accomplished our flexion, we've accomplished softness in his neck and his poll and his back. So we're going to take Henry here, and he doesn't have any pressure in his hands. He's not giving that horse any signal with his hand. And what we did is we snapped on a set of one-piece reins on that bit, where all he's going to do is direct that horse's nose. He's going to guide that horse with his hands. But our martingale is still doing all the work, okay? So when you get a horse that wants to toss his head and root through the bit, and you've got young riders that have hands that are developing, that aren't ready to condition a horse manually, this is how we do it, right here. So Henry's just going to guide this horse with his hands, just guiding him. And he's using his leg very mildly, very politely. Okay. He's turning his toe out, and he's starting now to guide his horse. So this is the preliminary stages on teaching a horse to guide. All right, now Henry, look over your shoulder now and turn and go the other direction, please. See that? He used his leg and his hand to move that horse. Now look over your shoulder and go the other way, please. See how soft his hands are? And he's just guiding that horse's nose around. There you go. Okay, do the same thing. Do that figure 8. Go over your shoulder and guide. Okay. And until that horse will guide like this, there's really no sense doing anything else. Sometimes we'll spend half a day in here working on this. And you want to get this horse to where he'll go where you look. See how Henry's pelvis and his spinal column rotates when he looks, and that horse is now learning to respond to what we would call his seat aid and his visual aid. And this is what makes a horse very special. This makes him a treasure when he'll guide like this. Just like this. So you see he's not rooting through the bit, he's not tugging at the bit, he's giving. Notice those strings are soft. He's giving himself release. So if I didn't rig him like this, I'd have to be out here with Henry trying to teach him how to do this first, then the horse. But see, Henry is learning what to feel like when that horse is in collection and his back is rounded, he's feeling it. So when he feels that horse like this, he knows when he's not like this what it feels like too. So when he turns and steps over in the front, see how he steps over when he turns, just like this? All right. Now turn toward the fence, Henry. Now watch when he turns toward the fence, well, he didn't do it, but I want him to turn on his haunches. Okay? So come out about 3 feet from the fence and then turn toward the fence, Henry, and make him turn on his back end. No. All right, now stop, stop, look over your shoulder and turn toward the fence. There, there. Let him find it, there. There you go, see there? So we're teaching Henry and that horse how to turn. Get too close to the fence now and do it the other way. So you want to make sure you're not too close to the fence, don't make it too tough on him. All right, now do it again. Do it again. There. There you go. See, now that's what we're looking for. All right, so you work on that. And we're working this all at a very low speed. Very low speed. Very soft. You notice everything we do revolves around softness. So now, stop, Henry. Walk off. And what I want you to do is every time you do that transition, do it about every 20 feet. I want you to do it softer every time. Stop. Walk off. Real soft, Henry. Do it soft, soft, soft. There. All right. Now, if you do this right, and you keep working like this horse will do that transition if you just think about it. All you gotta do is think about it. Stop. Walk off. So every time he does it, he should use less leg, less, just softer and softer and softer, to where he'll just about do it if you think about it. Then you're getting somewhere, okay? Soft, Henry. Soft. Very good. Now, I want you to look back over your shoulder, turn away from the fence, and turn. Boots is a good example here. You know, he was a horse that came from out west, and he'd been kind of cowbillied around at Cowboy Road and in a hurry every time he ever had to do something. So what we've had to do with him is kind of teach him table manners a little bit, you know, how to eat with a fork and a spoon and a knife, you know, and just kind of do things in a way that, in a little more civilized way, okay? He's a good horse, but he just didn't have the ability to do things in a mannerly fashion because he never was expected to. But you see a nice horse, he catches on real quick. You do this right. All right, now Henry, let's go to a trot out of that walk. Okay? There. Boy, that was nice. Now we're talking. All right, walk. Trot. Walk. Walk, Henry. Trot. All right, now go to a stop from that trot. Very good. Now it'll get better. We're just going to work on it here now. Trot. Walk. Trot. I mean, that's pretty good for an old farm boy, I think. Okay, stop. All right, now what we're going to do, Henry, is we're going to walk, trot, and then we're going to put him into a canter. Okay? And we'll just canter a little bit, and then we'll go back to a trot. But I want that canter transition to try to be real smooth if we can. Okay. There. Excellent. Oh, I'm so happy. All right, trot. So he wants to pick his head up in that transition. This could have been a horse that had been ridden in a tie down before. Those rodeo type guys, they put those horses in a tie down to rope whip. So when a horse picks his head up, he's used to leaning into a tie down. So we have to teach him to be supple and soft. You don't need that tie down. Okay, go back into the canter. There, excellent. Look where you're going, Henry, that's good. Look how he takes his chin and points where he's going. Point where you're going. Now he's holding his hands there and he's just directing that horse and guiding his nose with his hands. He's not giving him any contact with his hands. Okay, good. Now, what we're doing is we're teaching this horse to canter with weight on his back. So this horse has got to find balance. He's got to find cadence and feel real comfortable with an extra 175, 183 pounds, I think Henry told me, on his back. So we started him out with no saddle. Then we put the saddle on, which was 55 pounds. And then we put that old brute on his back, 175 pounds. So we got 55 plus 175, which is 225. So he's got 225 pounds on his back he wasn't born with. So what we have to do, see him licking and chewing? That's good, feeling good about it. Now stop, Henry. Now let him rest. Now, this horse isn't puffing, he isn't hot, he isn't restless. He's very comfortable with what just happened here. If we stopped and he was puffing and hot and restless and getting to where he's pushy and anxious, then we know we got to back up. We got to cool that off. Now, we're going to turn that motor on one of these days, but now's not the time. He's got to learn to balance that motor with his mind, and all that energy and all that power has to be balanced with his mind. Canter the other direction. You done. See, people want to turn the power on and turn the speed on before they get the brain straightened out. We got to get him feeling comfortable with 225 pounds on his back before we turn the speed on. Because uncontrolled speed is very dangerous. High stakes gambling, and you will lose eventually. So Boots is learning how to center his load. He's got a good load there. Henry's responsible cargo. Look where Henry's feet are in his stirrups. Look how he's sitting up in his saddle. He's in balance. Okay, that's good. Very nice. His stirrups are the correct length. He's looking to where he's going. Come a long way, Henry. You're doing good, son. All right, we're going to canter now. He's going to take his outside leg back. There you go. See, now he's starting to soften that neck up a little bit. He's used to stiffening that neck up when he canters because he's used to somebody hanging on him in a hurry. Calm down, Boots. There you go. There you go. Okay, trot. Canter. There you go. So he still wants to get a little racy when you go to canter because he's used to that. He's used to somebody hot rodding him a little bit. A lot of horses are that way. But I want him to go into that canter softly. I want him to go into it in a very smooth, cadenced way. And I want him to change from a walk to a trot to a canter without switching his tail or picking his head up. I want him to do it real quiet, real easy. There you go. Normally, if I'm standing in the middle and Henry's doing this, I'm having to help him do the work a little bit because I don't want him getting after that horse with his spurs to get impulsion. I'll provide that. So a lot of horses lack impulsion and forwardness because they've had people climb on their back saying woo, 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 because they're afraid of getting bucked off or falling off and they're holding the horse back. Well, then all of a sudden they get to where they start feeling safe, then they throw their hands forward and say, go, 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 go. Well, the horse is saying, well, for the last 3 weeks you've been saying whoa, 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 now you're saying go, go, go. So we want to really preserve that treasure of forwardness. and that natural impulsion. We want to preserve that. Okay? Like that. All right, go ahead and canter. Softly. Remember, we're going to do it softer every time. All right, whoa. Whoa. You stop, Henry. Now bring him up here and stand him quiet. There you go. You know, folks, this is a really nice horse, and you know, you give us a month or two here, and we're going to have this fella here really in the position to where he can do some special things for somebody. But it takes this type of just slow, consistent, procedural work, you know, to back it all up and to talk about what we've done here. Transitions are the name of the game. Do them softer every time, softer every time. And don't worry about cantering until you get the other gaits worked out. Realize that your canter is developed at a trot. Your trot is developed at a walk. And you take it in that sequence. That you should spend the majority of your time in that trot, getting that balance and getting that cadence right. And then one day he'll just hand you that canter. Everybody gets in a big hurry about out here wanting to canter. But you walk and trot perfectly first. And then he'll just hand you the canter. It'll come natural. So take it in that order and take your time. A round pen's good to work in so you can keep that horse moving. You know, you take him out here in the big arena and it's hard to keep him in that circle. So to canter him in this circle, in a confined circle, where you're not having to keep his head pulled around in that circle, and just allow him to freely canter, softly and in balance, feeling good about that extra 200 and some pounds on his back. That's a good way to get a horse that where he'll be really, really good in his canter, and very confident in his canter, because a lot of horses are not confident in their canter. So that's how we start a horse and teach him to be cadent and balanced in his canter.